There are moments in history when darkness covers the land, when fear rules every home, and hope feels like a distant memory.
Israel was living in such a time. The Midianites swept in like a plague, destroying everything. But even then, God was preparing a hero.
And hear me now. This hero wasn't found on a battlefield. He wasn't standing tall with a sword in his hand.
No, he was hiding. A man named Gideon, crouched in a wine press, threshing wheat in secret, trying not to be seen, trying not to be caught, trying not to be destroyed. Gideon didn't see strength in himself. He saw fear, weakness, insignificance.
But right there, in Gideon's lowest place, God stepped in. The angel of the Lord appeared under the old oak tree, and with a voice that shook the fear out of the air, he said,
"The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Oh yes, God called him mighty before he ever acted mighty. God saw potential where Gideon only saw pain. Gideon shook his head and said, "Lord, if you are with us, why has all this happened?" And God answered not with words, but with fire. Gideon laid an offering on a rock. The angel touched it with the tip of his staff, and flames shot upward like lightning from heaven. Gideon fell back, trembling, because he knew God had spoken to him. That same night, fear still in his bones, Gideon obeyed the Lord. In the cover of darkness, he tore down the altar of Baal. He smashed the idol into pieces. He burned what others worshipped. Let me tell you something. Obedience doesn't wait for courage to arrive. Obedience creates courage. And just when Gideon took his first step, God showed him the size of the battle. Across the valley, the Midianites gathered. Thousands upon thousands, so many they looked like locusts on the land. An ocean of enemies. No man would dare face them. But God wasn't finished. Gideon called Israel to battle, and 32,000 men answered. But God said, "No, too many. Send the fearful home." And 22,000 walked away. Then God said again, "Still too many." And after the test at the water, only 300 men remained. 300 against an army without number. Why? So Israel would know the victory belongs to the Lord. Night fell. Gideon stood on the hillside with only a torch, a jar, and a trumpet. No swords, no spears, just obedience and faith. Then the moment came. Gideon lifted his hand, and at his signal, the jars shattered. Torches blazed across the hills like a wave of fire. Trumpets roared like a storm from heaven, and the army shouted, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon." By sunrise, the enemy was gone. The land was quiet, and Gideon, the man who once hid in fear, became the warrior God always knew he was. And hear me today. God still chooses the unlikely. God still uses the unqualified. And God still turns the fearful into heroes of faith. Because He is the strength when we have none.